the people who said that they'd found ways to act on their values had, at an earlier point in their lives, when they were young adults, with someone they respected, a senior person, a parent, a teacher, a boss, a mentor, they had had the experience of rehearsing out loud, what would you do if, and then various kinds of moral conflicts. Now, of course, they couldn't anticipate the Holocaust, but they had had the experience of literally, there was two pieces of it. They had literally pre-scripted themselves. In other words, they'd come up with words to say, and they had said them out loud. They had voiced the intent, okay? So I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. You know, it's a kind of rehearsal, this pre-scripting. So I started looking around. I started doing interviews with scholars and with business people and with some of the people who had reported voicing their values in these Columbia essays. I also started looking at a lot of the research. And I found that increasingly there was a lot of research from many different disciplines, from social psychology and from in the area of decision-making biases and heuristics and problem framing, anthropology, and even cognitive neuroscience, that was suggesting that rehearsal matters. That basically what you voice, what you say, what you do, what you practice becomes a kind of default behavior. Actually, one of the most compelling examples of this was when I was taking a self-defense class. I had never felt the need to take a self-defense class at any point in my life until I went to work at Harvard Business School. So, go figure. But I did take this class, and it was, some of you may have heard of it. I think it has a new name now, but it used to be called model mugging. And the idea was that instead of just teaching you the moves, you know, fist to nose and knee to groin and heel to instep, that you would actually have a guy who'd come into the room wearing like a Michelin man suit. He was all padded, and he would literally attack you full force. And you would, of course, already practiced the moves, but then you got to use them in this heightened adrenaline state. And the physiological research suggested that, in fact, if you use these responses in this heightened state of adrenaline and emotional and physical tension, that there was a kind of muscle memory that set in. They called it specific state muscle memory. And so that if you then were later in your life in an experience where you were attacked, even if your brain went blank, there was a comparable physiological reaction, and your body would remember. It's kind of like when you learn something like a sport, your body remembers it.